Hey everybody, welcome to class. What we're going to do now is we're going to work on Quartz. Okay, Quartz. It's a really cool blog. This is an advanced reading. Okay, advanced reading. We're going to do a lot of discussion. In this reading too, what we'll do is we'll look at new vocabulary. Be more than happy to stop, check out some new vocabulary, talk to you about that. The main focus here is just learning, or pardon me, reading and then being able to talk about it as well. Okay, again, this is an advanced class. If you're around intermediate, no problem. No problem. Feel free to join. Okay, and also too, if you have any Quartz articles that you want to share, then please, by all means, please post them. So the first one here, so Furkan was first. So here we are. Let's copy this, and we'll be using that one as the first one to start off with. So very good, very good. Okay, so let me just pop down here. Okay, and for those of you that are looking for another article, you should be looking on quartzqz.com. All right, those of you that are interested in reservations, okay, you can get a reservation by going to verbling.com/get reservations. Okay, when you go there, you can sign up for a premium account. You can also not only sign up for a premium account, you can invite your friends, you can like us on Facebook, there's a video to watch in other ways, but the main thing is getting a premium account. And I'm not trying to sell you into the account, but what it will do is ensure that you have a seat in class, okay? So there is some significance to it. So hey, Furkan, am I the only teacher where it's starting from the beginning?
No, there are a few teachers it happens to them too, but not every teacher.
Okay, because you know I posted it, and some people were like, "Oh, really?" Other teachers, you know, and it's like, you know, one of them didn't even believe me. I mean, I think he was nice enough just to stop by, but you know, I mean, I should think I'm technical enough to figure it out. So, okay, good. Wow, this looks good. Yeah. So Lamia, hey Lamia.
Hi, teacher.
Hey, good. Welcome to class. Fernando's back again, so good. Good. And Ahmed. Hi, Ahmed.
Yes, how are you? Nice to see you again.
Yeah, no, I'm doing well, and also too, I'm happy. I'm really happy because right now, everybody that's in class, everybody's intermediate to advanced, if not all being in advanced. So that's good. That's good. So we don't have to explain to people, you know, that this is more of a advanced class. So yeah, guys, let's just get started into this. There's no reason to talk about each other's favorite ice cream and stuff. I think you guys have been in enough classes together. You probably know each other's favorite ice cream by now, right? So, so in here, oops, geez, I didn't mean to go to LinkedIn. Hello, LinkedIn. I'm linked out. Okay. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to look at if you want to succeed to start a company, if you want to succeed, start a company instead of writing a resume. Hey, I like this because when anyway. I talk about myself too much, but I do like this. I do like this. Very good. Furkan, go ahead. Can you start reading here? Read the title, and then we'll get into the reading.
If you want to succeed, start a company instead of writing a resume.
Okay.
For years, we have been talking about the education bubble and the problem that college charge tons of money and then graduates are unemployable and in debt. Colleges are responding by becoming job preparation centers, and Frank Bruni, opinion editor for the New York Times, says this is a waste of time and resources. Here's what's better. We're skipping college. The real issue we have with admitting that college is not a path to the work world is then we have to ask ourselves why we send our kids to high school. There's plenty of data to show that teens are able to manage their lives without the constraints of school. The book Escaping the Endless Adolescence is chock full of data, and a recent article by my favorite journalist, Jennifer Senior, shows that high school is not just unnecessary but actually damaging to teens who need much more freedom to grow than high school affords.
Okay, so good, so good. So yeah, so we're learning new stuff, but also too, this is making us think, right? So this is pretty cool. So the education bubble, okay? So everybody knows what a bubble is. Remember how we had the dot-com bubble where things grow too quickly? Okay, we also had the bubble in the financial crisis. We had a bubble when it came to real estate, when it came to properties. So right now we're having an education bubble because there's just so many people that are getting this education now, all right, are getting college educations, and also too, it's getting to where it's becoming too expensive. At least this is what's happening in the United States, okay? And yeah, and we want to pronounce this as graduates, okay? All right? So you graduate from college, and then you're a graduate. So the way that they're responding, so colleges are dealing with this by becoming job preparation centers. So basically just a place that's going to help you get a job, okay? All right? So they say this is a waste of time and resources, okay? So time, meaning all the time you're spending doing something, and the resources, all the manpower, everything, all the effort that goes into it. So here's the alternative. So skipping college. So this is the first thing here. And when you look in here, it talks about the time wasted in high school. So yeah, some people think that it's a waste in high school for kids, especially ones that need more freedom to grow. So again, high schools are more rigid, okay, more rigid. Admittedly, I slept through high school. Okay, it was pretty horrible, but I did. I'll admit it. Okay, I was one of those kids. All right. So, and by the way, if you have any questions, please stop me. Please stop me. Hey, Igor's here. Hey, Igor.
Yes, hi Bret, how are you?
Hey, long time no see. You know? Yeah. I figured Igor that maybe you left me for all the pretty teachers, because there's so many more teachers that are prettier than me. But I'm glad you're back, Igor.
I have some work to do, and also my graphic changed. I come to later classes.
Okay, and you know I'm just kidding, Igor. But yeah, Igor, it's always a pleasure. There are many students I miss, but I really like having you here, Igor. So good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And guys, please feel free to stop me if you have any questions, okay, about the words and so forth. I'm going to glance over a few words that I think you probably need to know, but for the most part, I want to get through this so we can talk about this, because this is interesting stuff. Okay, again, everybody, this is an advanced class. That's why I'm speaking faster, okay? So please forgive me. Lamia, number 2, please.
Okay. Focus on internship instead of school. Kids should be working in the internship in high school, because the best path to a good job is a bunch of great internships. But great internships don't go to people who need money. They are mostly for young people. Yes, this is probably illegal and classist and bad for youth society. But we will not debate that here. Instead, we will debate why kids need to go to college if their internships are what make them employable. Kids should do internships in high school, and by their college year, they are capable of real jobs where they are doing work that people value with cash. You cannot take. Okay.
Good. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Read this too.
Okay. You cannot take this route if you are saddled with huge student loans. You can't take this route if you are inundated by homework and required subjects you don't care about. You can't take this route if you have no work experience when you graduate college. It is too late. Don't tell me you need to go to school to learn. Okay, people just don't believe this anymore.
Awesome. I love that. Oh, good job reading, but this is just really in your face. This is the way life is, okay? Read this last part. Don't tell me you need to go to school to learn, okay? People just don't believe that anymore. All right? Okay? You
This
know,
anymore.
what's that?
You said that this anymore.
Oh, this anymore. Sorry. Don't believe this anymore. Yeah, so, hey, thank you. You're paying a lot of attention, so good. But people just don't believe this anymore. So yeah, there's other ways to learn. So, for instance, computer programmers, not all of them are educated. Some of them just learn on their own, okay? Some of us just taught ourselves how to do that. Instead of having to go to college. And then some of us, we went back later. I don't know why, just I guess to burn up money that we made. But yeah, so you don't always have to go to school. So the main point here, all right, is just talking about internships. So an internship is when you go to work for a company, all right? And sometimes they're paid internships where you're going to be compensated for it. Sometimes they are not paid. Sometimes you just go there and you just learn new skills. So an internship is almost like a apprenticeship as well, where you have somebody above you that's teaching you in real life how things are going, how things work. And one of the problems, okay, all right, it says you can't take this route, okay, you can't take this route. So what they mean by route is like a path, okay, like when you're driving down a highway, you might go down Route 9, you might go down Route 36, okay? So you can't take this route of these internships if you're inundated, which means you're consumed, you're just given more and more, okay? You're inundated. Some people are inundated by the pressures of life and they get a lot of stress and so forth. Don't do that, by the way, okay? So inundated by homework and required subjects that you don't care about. So how many of us, some of you are still in college, all right? But even in high school, right? And some of you that graduated from college, there's
Yes,
required...
I'm in
Go
high
ahead.
school. Yes.
Yeah, you're in high school. So sometimes there's required subjects you don't care about, right? So it's taking your time away from other things that you can be doing, all right? Okay. And by the way, what's your name?
My name is Omar.
Omar, okay. And Omar, do me a favor, Omar. Welcome to
Yes.
Verbling, by the way, okay? So later on, if you can do me a favor, your name is written in Arabic. If you can just write it as Omar later on, just so we know, all right? Because we mouse over it as teachers, and we try to get to your name. So just please write it in English, just so we can read it, okay? But welcome, Omar.
Okay.
Welcome to class. Okay, and some
Yes.
other people have just joined in. Don't worry, you'll get to read, and if you have questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, so what do you guys think about this? Focusing on internships. Any feedback?
I don't think so. That is a good way to focus on internship and leave your high school, because the degree is most important thing in my community. You can't walk without experience and without degree. If you have degree, you don't have experience, and vice versa. So it's a controversial issue that no one can discuss or no can solve this problem. Experience and degree.
Okay, all right. But it says here, don't tell me you need to go to school to learn, okay? People just don't believe this anymore. And I'm just kidding with you. I understand what you're saying, but isn't it almost like what they call a double-edged sword? Okay, have you ever heard of that expression, double-edged sword?
Yes.
Because when you go to school, you're not gaining real-world experience. When you're in an internship and you're gaining real-world experience, right? You're not going to school, correct? Okay. So I think what they're saying here, this is the main thing in their opinion, right? Internships are what make them employable. It's what makes them employable, meaning somebody wants, so that's the point of this, okay? Somebody wants to hire you because you have been in an internship where you're what they call hands-on. So hands-on, okay?
Yes.
All right? So, and also too, and I hope I'm not gonna, and look, I'm a teacher, so this is an insult to me, all right? There's an expression, guys, it mutes me. That's why I'm not saying it, typing it. Okay, there's an expression. This is a real world expression. People who can, oh geez, people who, yeah, people who can do, I should have put a comma there. Those who cannot teach. All right. So
Yes.
again,
They get training.
no, well, what it's saying is, you know, and I'm not trying to be mean. And again, I'm a teacher, right? So maybe I fall on that, you know. So those who can do mean they go out and do it. Those who cannot teach. And I hope I'm not insulting anybody if you're a teacher, okay? And again, I'm kind of insulting myself. But
with the same expression in my
yeah,
language.
yeah, so exactly. So the thing is, so if you're in college, right, there's a lot of professors that never had any real world experience. And they're going to tell you, hey, this is how you do it. You're going to read out of a book, and that's how you do it. I mean, doesn't it make more sense to be next to somebody who's already done it, somebody who's doing whatever job you're in, and then they're teaching you hands-on, right? So, anybody else? Go ahead, Igor. Do you have more of an opinion on this?
Do you think
No,
that
I
the
know this
solution
expression
could be
about.
to make internship inside high school? Internship should be a subject in high school or even in the university.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, so it could be a class, or maybe what they do instead of sitting there and having you go to school. How much do you go to school in high school? What is it like 6 hours a day, or is it 8 hours? I can't remember. Maybe just have you go to school for 2 or 3 hours, and then you run your internship.
But you need to accomplish 1 week, 2 weeks, a month of internship to get your degree or your high degree or your university title.
Yep. So what you're suggesting is a nice mix, right, Fernando? So you have a little bit of school. Yep. Yeah, good. They would call that like a nice balance. Nice balance. Okay. Anybody else before we go to the next thing? The next thing you should do?
Maybe I will comment it at the end.
Okay.
It's more
All
general.
right. Okay. Got it. Okay. So let's continue on. Let's see here. Okay, Igor, your turn, Igor.
I was reading the fortune list of 40 under 40, and I was struck by the career history of Kenning Fidge, number 11 on the list. He is president of Marvel Studios at age 39. He wrote that he interned with the Superman movie director as a film student, and that was the last job application he filled out. That's because if you get an internship with someone great and your performance is great, your network will cover your employment needs for a very long time.
Okay, good. And yes, everybody, we understand that when you're writing an article that supports something, that you're going to pull out information, you know, and put it in your article that, hey, here's a case in point. We all know that there's going to be other cases in point. So let me write that out. We call that case in point.
Where are you writing? I can see nothing in the group chat.
Yeah, I'm in the Verbling chat. Is it not coming up?
No, I think no.
Oh, so no, Fernando, click in the Verbling chat. You're in the other chat.
I think I am in the Verbling web.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see you in the regular chat because it'll tell me whose name's in the regular chat. So yeah, click on the Verbling. So it's in there, but it's just case in point, by the way. And let me just do it up here. Okay. Oops. So case in point. I did it up top here, and it won't. Don't worry, it won't run to case in point. So yeah. So what I'm saying there, that's what this is. Case in point is what we call that. Okay. All right. So this is one of them that they pointed out. There's other cases where, yeah, somebody went out to Harvard, got a degree, then maybe they went to Wharton Business School, got an MBA, and then became, the CEO of a company. But this is a good case here where this person interned, Marvel Comics, okay? So Marvel Studios. So Marvel Comics does most of, Iron Man, I think Batman, Superman, most of it comes from Marvel Comics, okay? So he was an intern in the Superman movie. So it's saying here, if you have the opportunity for a great internship, okay, with a great person, then that's going to help you out. And your network, what your network is, are the people that you know, okay? People that you know. And I think this about sums up the way the world is these days, okay? All right? Is an intern with someone great, and if you're great, your performance is great. The world is getting so small, and it's so nice to see that people in all these different countries that, their capabilities, they have the ability, if they're good, to get ahead in life, okay? It's becoming what they call a level playing field. So if you're good, you're good. And when you think about it, doesn't college take away from the level playing field? Because if you have rich parents and you can go to a real nice college, doesn't that just take away from that? Doesn't that give you an unfair advantage? Okay. My uncle just sent me an article about that. I'm going to pull it up in case we have time to read that. Okay. So go ahead, Igor. Read this here. Start a company instead of writing a resume.
Read to read?
Start a company. Yep.
Start a company instead of writing a resume. I'm struck by Marissa Meyer, number 3 on Fortune list, whose announced acquisition strategy is buying small, cheap companies, which is in effect buying the team. Silicon Valley calls these acqui-hires. She is looking at young people who start companies that are not necessarily successful in terms of product or sales, but successfully market the founders as visionaries, self-starters, and hard workers. You can't show those traits in school, so if you have those traits, you slow yourself down by going to school where you cannot exhibit your best marketable traits.
Okay, good. By the way, Igor, your pronunciation is really coming along, okay? Really coming along, so good. And I know you like for me to stop you and so forth, but really it's getting better and better, so it's good, or it's already has improved greatly. Okay, so yeah, Marissa Meyer, she's the one on Google right now, or not Google, but Yahoo right now. And yeah, Yahoo sucks, blah, 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 okay, whatever. But who knows? Don't count them out, okay? You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, so acqui-hires, okay? So this is when they go in and sometimes they'll buy a company, not so much just for their software, but the team, okay? So that's an acquisition when you buy something. An acquisition is when you buy a smaller company, and that's what big companies like Facebook, all the other ones do, right? Facebook, Google, and so forth, okay? So traits. So you can have physical traits, all right? So if your father's tall, you might be tall. That's a physical trait that you have. You might take on, your same color of your mother's eyes, your grandmother's eyes, whatever the case. So those are traits. So what it's talking about here are the different traits that visionaries, self-starters, hard workers, these type of people, it's hard to see those traits in school. And when it was talking about earlier in high school, sometimes this rigid nature in high school, the fact that things are this, and this, it holds back some of the best and brightest people because you can't really see that. How do you see a self-starter when everybody has to do the same thing, right? How do you see a hard worker if the person is bored, okay? So guys, what do you think about this? Any opinions on this part here? Start a company instead of writing a resume?
Yeah,
I think you explained everything to us. Thank you, teacher.
What's that?
I think you give the point, all the point that I was want to talk about. You speak about it before.
Yeah, but also too, this is an advanced class, so you guys can understand enough English to where I want to hear your opinion. Because we all have different opinions. Like a med, for instance, with the med, and also too, where you come from can influence your opinion. All right, because some places, when you look at a title, it means a lot. So, for instance, in China, I know a med's not from China, but in China, going to school is. I know you're not from China. That's what I said, Ahmed. I know you're not from China. So, but what I'm saying is, in China, for instance, going to school is so important. It's one of the most important things. If people read this sort of article in China, they'd go, "What? You guys are nuts." No, they would. They would. So it influences depending on where you're from. That influences your opinion. Go ahead, Furkan. What were you going to say?
I was saying that taking a risk, starting a company is a big risk, and if you take it, you might get rewards or you might fail. But as a person, I love taking risk, and probably this would be the way that I'm gonna choose. But probably in this country, it would be a little bit hard than maybe United States or other countries, because for example, for now, I have no road path or no plan for the future. So until I get a plan, for example, I will go with that way, normal way, and maybe I can change my mind.
Yep. And also too, a lot of these people, they don't always have plans. So the founder of Amazon.com. Okay, he's an entrepreneur, just mega rich guy, right? So somebody asked him, what about your business plan? So gosh, I'm tired of this muting me. So business plan, what a business plan is, okay, in order to make a profit, here's what I'm going to do. Here's my first step. Here's my next step. Here's this step. And you go through it. Well, they asked him about his business plan. He said, at first I had a business plan, but then I just threw it away because things change so rapidly, all right? So sometimes, I'm not saying just, throw caution to the wind. Sometimes you have to give it up and just go ahead, Ahmed.
Sometimes someone who want to cope with changing every day, and changing in the business, changing in his life or her life, and so on. So coping is most important things that must be learned in school, in high school, or in our college.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Got it.
I think director of Amazon, what you said, example for us. I think he has business plans, but he is not willing to share with us his business plans.
Well, yeah, but this is even years ago. Okay. Let me see if it's going to come up.
No, I mean, surely he, in my opinion, surely he has business plans. How he cannot have this business plan? But
yes, you value yourself, not just getting into something and you don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
He will not do not want to share. Why should he share business plans with?
Yeah, but this what I'm saying. This is a long. Well, okay, I understand your opinion. That okay.
That's why he's director of Amazon, because he doesn't share business plans with others.
Well, I mean, he's the one who started also in here. So he made a cross-country drive from New York to Seattle. He wrote up his business plan on the way. So, you know, but also everything was so brand new. Think about when he was doing this. It was so brand new, you know. Everything just kind of changed along the way. Yep. And to throw caution to the wind, what I mean by that is, you know, by not having a business plan written down, by not having that, you're kind of throwing caution to the wind, because people would tell you, yeah, you have to have a business plan, you have to have this set up. Okay, so that's what throwing caution to the wind. By the way, guys, I posted a link here. Don't look at it now, but you can look at it later. You know, no rich child left behind, and it's all about this inequality gap, and that the rich children are going to be able to go to the better schools, be able to you know, do better than the poor children. Okay, the reason I put that in here is, you think about it, if we start to turn more towards internships, more things like that, aren't we going to find the brighter people instead of just the people that have the, what they call the silver spoon in their mouth?
Yes.
Yes, I think the one who value himself since the high school and know what he can do, even if he was poor, but he can develop himself a little by little. But of course, we know that the people that you're speaking about that have money, of course, they get advanced, but their chances are more than the regular people of advancing in life.
Yeah, the ones that have money. Ones that have money.
Yes, yes.
So yep.
Yes, of course.
Yep. And I see what you're saying, Nadi. It was part of his promotion campaign. Yeah. And I guess, you know, after living, you know, I lived in Silicon Valley. You know, I was there during the .com bust, and just being around these type of people. I mean, they are kind of like that. You know, I could just see, you know, throwing away the business plan. But anyway, it could just be part of his promotion campaign. Agreed. Fernando, the next one, number 4.
Okay. Refuse to present yourself in a linear way. Do any work around that let you forget the linear reception, the standard resume format. Because linear presentation favor people to have long rule-following careers, which don't necessarily make you look good anyway. I could write a post 10,000 paragraphs long of all the new things people with non-linear work histories are doing to get jobs. People use Twitter as a resume, according to the Wall Street Journal, which requires only that you publish ideas, not any sort of academic experience. Young people are selling stock in themselves, paying out dividends for decades at a time.
Okay. Go ahead. Continue with this last part.
Agents represent workers who pick and choose projects that match them rather than signing on for indefinite amount of time. The Harvard Business Review called this super temping. Business Week called it going Hollywood.
Okay, good. Going Hollywood? I like that. It's a cute little expression, okay? So yeah, so linear, okay? It's just like in one way, okay? You can't be that way, all right? Okay? So people no longer, the point of this, right, is you no longer have these same type of working backgrounds, okay? You will switch careers, you'll go back and forth, and people that are flexible. Again, it doesn't necessarily make you look good anyway, all right? Okay?
But
so,
this is against specialization, because specialization means that you have to work on the same subject again and again and be the only one who can manage certain Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too clear for me that jumping from one job to another job would increase your opportunities of to be success.
Yep, and you're absolutely right when it comes to that, okay? And I'm a big fan of what they call the 10... So, the 10,000 hours, okay? 10,000 hours, and it became really was pointed out when you talk about the Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Okay, and what the 10,000 hour rule is that you have to work for something for 10,000 hours. He's just giving that as a figure, okay? That if you work for these 10,000 hours, then what happens is you become a specialist. You become a specialist in what you're doing. So that's the 10,000 hour rule. All right?
Mhm.
And what you're saying, is when you jump from place to place and so forth. So so maybe this isn't for everybody, but if you want to be highly successful, then maybe this 10,000 hour rule doesn't always apply to I'm talking in circles. Maybe the specialization applies to people that are like plumbers, people that maybe all they're going to do is be a computer programmer, right? So they need to specialize in that. So maybe this non-linear approach is more for the entrepreneurs and people that are creating new businesses. Okay, but good point. And you're right. There is evidence, okay, that would suggest, that hey, and by the way, this is one of my favorite authors, okay, and you look at it, the story of a success. When they talk about the 10,000 hour rule in this book, they also talk about Bill Gates. The reason Bill Gates was so successful is because where he grew up, he had access to computers when he was 15 years old. Okay, when he was 15. So again, expertise. Okay, so anyway, and you can find. I mean, you see how many search results? 1,550,000. Okay, so Wayne Gretzky, right? Bill Gates spent 10,000 hours programming computers. Blah blah blah. So yeah, there's a lot of credibility to what you're saying. So in this opinion, with this guy, doesn't mean as much, okay? And maybe by going around and building these resumes in another way, maybe that's more important. Or maybe what he's saying is that, you're super temping. So maybe as a temp, what you're doing is, I'm a computer programmer. I'm going to continue to do that, but instead of staying at one company, okay, I'm going to be going to different companies to hone my skills instead of sticking with, instead of getting my master's degree, I'm going to go out and work more. Okay.
Yes,
Sorry,
I think
guys.
you don't have to have fixed ideas. You have to be open-minded and to be able to change of direction when the circumstances oblige or suggest that you have to turn.
Yep. And listen, guys, I apologize. I'm going to try to stop talking as much. Okay. So, any other thoughts on this about this super temping? Anybody that's been working for a while? What do you think? Ahmed, what do you think about super temping? Does that sound like the way to go? Or going Hollywood?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't think so? That's not the way to go? Okay. Anybody? How about you, Fernando? What do you think about this super temping? I know you just gave your opinion about specializing, but what if you're super temping along the same lines, along the same field, along the same specialty? What about that?
Well, I also think that I have at the beginning. I think specialization is so important if you want to get success, but also you have to be adaptable. If circumstances change, or in your life, in your job, in your family, you have to adapt and be able to change your job, to change your company, to change your city, everything.
Okay. All right. Bring up there was another article. Okay, maybe it'll come up. Anyway, the article's so old. So let's continue on, but there is something to be said about jumping from job to job with your own specialization. And the reason why is, and I'll make it really short, in the U.S. you have Silicon Valley, okay, which is in California, San Francisco, and then you have, I think it's the 182 loop or something like that over in Boston. They shared a lot of similarities, okay, a lot of similarities, but yet Silicon Valley took off. was hard for people to figure out why, because they had so many of the same factors. They finally figured out that job tenure, how long you stay at a job, that it was almost double in Boston, okay, as opposed to the Valley where people jumped around. The significance of that is the more that they jumped around, the ideas they would, what they call cross-pollinate.
And it also give negative intonation.
They do what?
Changing your jobs from one company to another is also give negative intonation, negative feedback about your work.
Yeah, but it isn't that way anymore, okay? So it depends. If you're doing it every 2 months, yeah. But if you're going every year and a half, 2 years, and in fact, sometimes people look at you if you've been in a job too long, they look at you like, what's wrong with you? Like, why aren't you going to another job to make more money? And when you jump from job to job, you bring ideas from the other job with you, right? You cross-pollinate.
The people call you an expert for in some jobs.
Well, you become an expert because you then see what it's like in different companies, right? So if you're a computer programmer, for instance, you're jumping job to job, then you get to learn more because each company is a little different in the way they program, the way they look at things.
The people came to you asking for advices about some companies, so you have experts in them.
Yep, and it'll just be advice. Okay, you won't have advices. Yep, yeah, advice is going to be a non-count. Okay, but good. Go ahead, Ahmed. Can you read this? Here's a big takeaway, and here's probably where you guys want to pay a lot of attention.
Yes, of course. Yes. But here is the big takeaway: a fundamental shift is taking place, where the path to getting a job is massively circumventing college Kardashian. And at the same time, the American public is fed up with insane debt. The college are expecting new grades to take on in order to graduate. Good essay, how college ruined my life. If you are not going to school in order to fit into the adult world, then why are you going to school? The love of learning, presumably, but school reform pundits are 100% sure that kids will choose to learn if you put no constraint on them. They will just learn what they want. Best example, the MIT program that gave Motorola exam to illiterate kids in Ethiopia. And they taught themselves to use it, program it, and read it in English. No teacher, no curriculum.
Okay, go ahead. Read this. Okay, finish. Okay. Go ahead.
The biggest barrier to accepting the radically new nature of the job hunt is the reverberations through the rest of life. If you don't need school for work and you don't need school for learning, then all you need school for is so parents can go to work and not worry about taking care of their kids. It takes bravery to go against the grain. It's difficult to say that the great learning and the great jobs come from learning out, doing things in non-linear, non-standard way, and playing only by the rules that fit your own style for personal learning and growth.
Okay, so good. So again, this is a radical new nature, the job hunt, right? Okay, all right. But look at this, okay? Look at this here, right? Okay, fit into the adult world, all right? So Motorola gave away, this is incredible. So what they're talking about here, I just read about this too, and this gives me goosebumps. Okay, so this is what, yeah, I don't know which one they got this from. I got this from a device. I was just pulling this up. So what happened was, okay, they give these kids, you guys can look at this, okay? What they did at MIT, this is absolutely so cool, so far out of the box thinking. What they did is give them boxes. Let me just find this, okay? So here it is, guys. This is all they did. Rather than give out laptops. Rather than give out laptops to kids in schools, blah, 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 right? They delivered some boxes of tablets to 2 villages in Ethiopia, taped shut, they weren't open, with no instructions whatsoever. Just like, hey kids, here's the box, you can open it if you want, see ya. Nothing. No instructions, okay? And if you read this further, these kids in here, they didn't know what written English is at all. They don't have any sort of written method of communication, right? What did these kids do? These kids went out, they learned how to teach themselves English on this. They learned how to teach themselves, okay? And here, this is the best thing here, right? They just left the boxes, okay? All right, within 2 weeks, okay, so the first one here, okay, they didn't even know what an on and off switch. They opened it up, powered it up, okay. Within 5 days, they were using 47 apps per child. Within 2 weeks, they were singing ABC songs in the village. Within 5 months, a kid had hacked into it, right? All right, and then they, what they found out later is these kids then started teaching their parents. Anyway, this is a good article. So okay, so that's it, guys. What are your opinions on this? Okay, what do you guys think about this?
It's an example that the learning, the self-learning, is more important, and everyone can learn as its own. But what's important is how to access the information, the knowledge. Is more important. Here's an example of Ethiopia. They give them the access to these tablets, and they learn by themselves, and so on. The most important is how to access to the information. Information is everywhere. You can Google anything in your life. You can read any books that relate to your profession. But the most important things is access to the information. It's my opinion about the learning. By the way, when I was in the ninth grade, I just learned how to program in C# and also designing and programming by Swish Max Flash by my own. And I ran a project for the elementary school. Yeah, and it's an example of the self-learning.
Yep. No, very good. That's. I mean, I had to self-teach myself as well. Okay, because I'm 41. So think about back when the web first started. We didn't have all the stuff that you have now in order to teach yourself, okay? And most of the rules and everything were changing. Most of the programs were changing so rapidly. There weren't any standards. There was no W3C. You know that? None of that stuff. I mean, it was just out in the open. It was so crazy. So that's probably why I got so excited about this article, is because, really it's finding something that you're interested in and then moving forward with it, right? I got interested in computers because I was surfing at the time, and I was tracking hurricanes through a weather band radio and figuring out all this stuff. Somebody showed me a computer, I got interested in it, and that was it. Okay, and I don't know what would have happened to me if I didn't. I'd probably be doing construction or something. I don't know. Now that I'm doing something great, but I was able to, go forward with that and move on. Furkan, what's your opinion on this article?
Yeah, I was going to say that, there's a path that everyone is following. For example, you can look your peers, what are they doing? They're going to attend to a high school and a college, then they get their degree, and probably they get a job in a normal company and a decent job, maybe a good job, but they wouldn't be a game changer until they take the path that no one else or just that few people take. And I know it's a risky and dangerous way. Like I said before, you might fail, or you might get very big, great rewards. But I think it's the best way to do that because, you know, if you choose the way that everyone chooses, there wouldn't be anything surprising or anything effective in your life, or it won't affect anyone else's life. It would just I don't know, maybe boring.
Yep, got it.
Yes, I am agree
But
with Furkan also. I am agree with Furkan also. This type of strategy that put me in the safe way.
Yep.
In the safe side, exactly.
Keep you on the safe side. But can I ask you guys something now? Look at this bubble, right? Okay. So couldn't it be more dangerous? Isn't it? Couldn't it be less safe to take the same path that everybody else is taking? You know, if
It's
you
more
have, I mean,
safe.
seriously, yeah. So
It's more safe to take
no,
a
what I'm
normal
saying
path.
is, yeah, but maybe it's not anymore. Okay, when you look at this education bubble, you read this other thing, right? I don't know about this article, how college ruined my life. Okay, so my point is maybe the safe way is to take the other route. I'm just giving an opinion, right? So you guys understand my point, right? You know?
Yeah.
So
It's an
maybe
example. It's not the rule. This what you open. It's an example of one person around, maybe there is a ratio, one person over 100, one person over 1,000 normal people that they route this path.
I understand, you know, and this is, by the way, this is a great debate, but keep in mind, rules were meant to be rewritten, not only broken, okay? But as time goes along, all right, who would have ever thought, okay, when I was growing up, nobody would have ever thought that nerds, okay, would rule the day. And look who the top people are these days. They're a bunch of nerds, right? Okay? Back then it was all these tough guys, you know, the macho guys, the salespeople, stuff like that. Now the nerds rule the day. So all I'm saying is that and it's just a question actually too, is that maybe it's less safe to take the traditional safe path of college. Maybe that is. Hey, Igor, go ahead, Igor. What do you think about this?
I listen to you all, to you a lot. It's correct to say? You lot?
I listen to you.
Lot.
And we're
the meaning to you all. What you?
Yeah, you can just say I've listened to all of what you have been saying.
Yeah.
You won't need to use a lot, okay? Because a lot means you know, like I listen to this a lot. Maybe every day I listen to this.
No, but
you
no,
can just say
not your lot. You lot. You lot. I learned in another lesson that you lot is when you say to more people, when you mean to more people from the group.
Oh, I've listened to the lot? You mean like the
No,
lot of
you
people?
You lot.
How do you spell that, just so I know?
You, like Y-U-O-U. And the lot is L-O-T.
Who taught you that? I know I'm not trying to be mean, but I want to find them. Yeah, maybe they said it a different way. No, you can just say
an article was in some article, and that teacher explained to us what is the meaning you lot.
Yep. Yeah, you can just say I've listened to all of you. I've been listening to all of you.
To all of you. To all of you.
Yep. Okay. And then okay, so what's your opinion on it, Igor? What do you think? Change the school system, put more internships in there, keep it the way it is?
My opinion that I don't think it's a good way to change education. I think this is a good at the moment what we have this kind of education, high school, and what they teach us there. Because why I think that? Because not all the people are the same. If, for example, you can do something, someone cannot do, and this is like a standardized for all people.
Okay, got it. Okay, and let's
So
see.
if you, for example, if you can be, I don't know, more smarter than someone, for example, and you can go something open, you will do without this, I don't know, programs or, but not all people are smart. Exists smart people, not smart people in the middle. So this is like for all people.
Yep, got it. Got it. Okay, so do you think that they should find a way, though, to maybe help out these smart people, identify them, so
No, I
that they don't
think
get stuck in the system?
I think who is smart will show his that he is smart in all ways. But I think this is it. So it's a good. I think it's a this education what we have is a education that help people to be well-rounded.
Yep, to be well-rounded. Got it.
Yes.
Ismail. Hey, Ismail.
Hello. How are you?
Hi, Ismail. Have you been following this this class?
Yes.
What's your opinion on all of this?
Well, my opinion is that when you're a child, you need some constraints. I mean, you need someone to tell you to do things, because I just take my case. I know I would never have gone to school if we had the right not to go, because I was immature. Maybe some kids were mature enough to go to school by themselves and learn everything. I was like I did like playing, so just playing in the field. So I would have never have been able to do it myself.
So, and you're still referring to like high school, right? You should
Yes.
still think there should be constraints. Okay, what about college? You think in college as well? That's good
No.
to.
Oh, totally. I think you have to be totally different in college. Okay, because I've experienced, for example, boarding school. Okay, so it was very strict. Okay, but when you grow up and you choose to go to college after high school, you choose what you want to do. If you don't want to go, you go to work. You go to work. Okay, but here you have chosen your subject, the subject of your studies. So you are interested in it. It's more, I see the teacher much more like a partner. It's much more, you see, it's a very different kind of
relationship
learning.
compared to kind of than when you're in high school, where your teacher's kind of just he's kind of like another parent,
Yes, because when you're a kid, you're not aware of the importance, for example, of mathematics. When you're a kid, you say, "Well, why do I learn these kind of things? I will not need it in life and everything." After that, when you're bigger, you say, "Oh, I should have learned this and do this." So
good. Any last thoughts, guys? Anyone?
Yeah, actually, I didn't know until last year that the schools and colleges in the United States takes too much money from students. Now, for example, I knew a college that at the end of the 4 years, you will be in debt for almost $120,000, and it's a huge amount of money. And also, there will be interest that you have to pay, and probably the rest of your life will be passed by paying off that money, and that's a horrible thing for a person. He has to always there is a burden on his shoulders. Always will be trying to find a job to get rid of that debt, and it's like it's a snowball. It's getting bigger and bigger if you can't find any job to pay off that thing. Maybe it's another problem because in my country you don't need to pay anything to college. Most of them are government colleges, I think. You just take the exam, and if you pass that exam, you can get to school.
Yep, got it. Anyone else?
Oh, just about the money, I think the American system is maybe expensive, but the universities have a lot of money. They have billions, so like Harvard, and they have billions of dollars. They have much more money than my country, so they can do much more scientific research and everything that will really help the how to say the corporation in that country. So I think it's half. I mean, it's a good point and a bad point.
Yeah, so it has its good points to it and bad points to it, right?
Yes.